Comics and whiskey, comics and whiskey. Whatever. Get off me. I don't have a soundtrack yet. Check it out. We're going to be checking out Punisher #1 from 2011. Yeah, I think it's 2011. This is the 2011-2012 run, and this is the strip that got me back into Punisher. Tonight's whiskey, we got a 2-finger pour of Tullamore Dew on some ice. I suggest you either drink it with the ice, or you do no ice and put a little bit of water in there, just barely a little bit of water to open up some of the flavors. And we're going to start off with a nice sip here of my Tullamore Dew, so hold on. Ah, damn, that's good. Ooh, no backbite. All right, Punisher #1. Hopefully you have your drink of choice. Let's get into it. So, Frank Castle, he was obviously a Marine. His story is well known now. He was a Marine whose wife and kid or kids, depending on which version you go with, got killed by the Mafia. And ever since then, he's just been laying the beat down to people. Easily one of the most violent people in the Marvel Universe. And you know what? Good for him. Okay, so we open up. We're here at New York. And there's a wedding going on, and then, this guy's over here shooting his gun. He's obviously some kind of a cop. And then here in the bottom, we've got Hector and his little dog, who seems to be pretty obedient. The wedding looks like it's some kind of military thing. You got the guy up here in the front with his uniform, and in the background, you got the wife and the new dancing. Guy here in the police thing is now walking away. We're not quite sure what's going on with him yet. Then we got black guy doing, let me get my hat and coat on, or whatever. So you see the merriment, and then all of a sudden here in the bottom, things kind of turn to worry, and she's like, oh shit. And then what happens? People bust in the door, all crazy like, and this is not like wedding crashers. They look pretty pissed off and armed. So they start looking around, and they got guns, and no one's really saying anything because they're just not sure what the hell's going on. And then, chaos. It's all about the chaos. Just take this in. This is pretty violent, man. These guys are just blowing the shit out of everybody. People getting killed. It's supposed to be a wedding. And, yeah. Good art, though, huh? So here we have the bride. And she's just covered in blood, although it looks like wine. And this guy's here holding her hostage. She's got the gun in her back. And then he shoots the groom in the guts. And she's like, holy shit. You can see there where she's got the wound in her chest. And then we have the cops who show up. Or actually, it's more like narration. Basically, 27 people died, and the 19 were wounded, and 7 of those 19 were critically wounded. They had to split up the casualties because they couldn't all go to the same hospital. They got statements and all this other shit, but, how much is that going to help when you're talking about the Mafia? So here this guy opens up and he says, ironic, don't you think, detective? The guy's like, no. As they're still going through covering up bodies and doing some investigating. Then this white guy down here says, hey man, it's an honor to be with you. And then, the black guy's like, no, not so much. Kind of reminds you of Seven with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman. We come back over here and you see that there's this poor little dead girl who was probably the flower girl. And they're saying that the wedding was for Daniel Alves and Rachel Cole. And I think they were both in the military, if I remember correctly. And they're just going over, is it gang related? Who knew what's going on? They're going over the guest list, trying to figure out if there's any mentionables on there. And to try to figure out why these people came in and did all this. But he's also noticing that these guys are armed with like high-end stuff. He's also noticing this guy here was shot from behind. You can see his face is blown off. So he's, they're trying to put that together. He's like, is it just wrong time, wrong place, whatever. Okay, drink. Oh, that's fucking good. God damn. Okie dokie. So now they're talking about the soldiers. They were Marines in full dress, and they were friends of the bride. They said she just returned from her second tour in Afghanistan, and the media's just going to dig on that. And then the Morgan Freeman guy. And tell me that does not look like Morgan Freeman right there. If you don't see Morgan Freeman right there, you're a fucking liar. Look at that. I can even hear his voice in my head. Although I don't know what's going on with this phone. Okay, let's shrink this down again. He says that she's still in the surgery and that the 2 more people died. Probably the guys who are in critical condition. And then they want to go talk to a witness. And then the white guy says, we're going to have to catch up with you. So they get he gets on the subway and, he's taking off looking all sad as it zooms on by. And there's some empty chairs there at the bottom. And then who do we have here walking down the stairs? The Punisher. All these photos, the guns, trying to put it all together. Now we go to the white cop again. It says, not here to bust you, just want an answer. Looking for a man who sells weapons, calls himself Sway. First to answer gets a free pass. So they're talking to these hookers, trying to figure out who sold the weapons, because like they said earlier, they were all pretty high end. And then you have these guys here. They call themselves the Exchange. And they're basically celebrating because they're the ones who did this. They're just drinking. Look like a bunch of Irish dudes, right? Then all of a sudden, the lights go off. and then it's just fucking melee. Look at this shit. Dude gets popped in the neck. This guy gets popped in the... Like, you didn't know what the fuck happened, right? So then this guy's like, man, don't just start shooting. We're going to kill each other. We got to figure out what's going on. Oh, I got to answer for you. Death is going on. He just opens up on these fools, killing them. And he's got this cover here in a fucking headlock. And he's just dropping people left and right. Man, this is brilliant. So then these guys are like, oh, what happened? I need a flashlight. Well, this dumb shit opens up a Zippo lighter and pops the light, which is probably not the best idea. And then you have this right here. This is really cool how they kind of reimagined the ghost face or the skull or whatever, how it's all like smeared. It's fucking beautiful. And this guy's like, oh shit, because he knows what's up, right? And Punisher's like, man, I ain't having it. So he puts the gun in there and pulls the hammer back. Doesn't even say a word. He's just looking at him. And you know this guy's like dropping, brown Twinkies out his butthole. Just probably pissed himself. And the Punisher pulls away. And then he just walks off. Why does he do that? You could think like, oh, you got to leave one alive because he has to go tell these other dudes, what's going on. And that's obviously always a great plan. I would have fucking thrown a bullet through his knee or through his feet or something just because I'm that kind of a dick. And then, of course, we close here with the Punisher skull. And then this is just more like a prologue. An epilogue. So this isn't really anything part of the story. This is all just extra stuff. So that's it. 2 weeks. They're going to be doing this one. Part 2. If I can get this thing to zoom. And we're not going to actually have to wait for 2 weeks because we're going to do it sooner. We're going to check this out probably next week. Punisher number 2. Anyways, that's it. I got one more drink left, so let's hook it up. Okay, now the Tullamore Dew is really smooth. It's actually, in my opinion, it's smoother than Jameson's. And it actually usually costs a little bit less. And so I don't like mixing the Tullamore Dew, but I will. So, if I had to pick between Jameson and Tullamore Dew, it's tough because flavor-wise, I think sometimes Tullamore Dew is a little better. But Jameson, I don't know, like my heart's there because I've been to the factory, where they make it and all that other stuff. So I don't know if you call it a factory. It's like a distillery. Anyways, that's it. Comics and Whiskey is out. Check it out. You can find me on Twitter. I'm under iExecutioner. I post this shit all the time. Retweet. I don't fucking care. Don't retweet. Don't watch it. Watch it. It doesn't matter to me, man. Because you know what? I get to read comic books and talk about them, so I'm happy either way. You guys be safe. Take care. And I'll see you for the next one. Like the electricity in the ghetto, I'm out.